This is a big development coming in for India against fraudsters. 40% of money defrauded by fugitive businessmen Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi have now been returned to the banks and the government by the Enforcement Directorate. The ED has transferred attached assets to the public sector banks that had suffered losses due to the fraud committed by these men. Now, the total amount defrauded by Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi was about 22,585 crore rupees, out of which properties worth 18,170 crore rupees have been attached by the ED. From the attached properties, the Financial Investigation Agency has now transferred assets worth 9,371 crores in total to the banks and the Union government. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman lauding the move, saying that the economic offenders will be actively persuaded and their dues will be recovered. Munish Pandey tracking all the latest on that, and I'm going to join him with further details. Munish, how big is this? Because many would say just 40%. What about the remaining 60? When will these men be extradited to India? And is this just the optics? So how significant is this development?
Well, Pooja, this is going to be certainly a very important development because remember, Vijay Mallya, Mehul Choksi and Nirav Modi, they have defrauded 22,500 crore rupees of Indian banks, Indian government, and it is our money. Now, what this action by ED essentially means that the money which was defrauded by Vijay Mallya, Mehul Choksi and Nirav Modi, that money is returning to the banks. 40% of the money which was defrauded by Vijay Mallya, Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi, that has been already returned to the banks in forms of the attached and seized properties of these trials. As far as the other properties are concerned, remember, almost 80% of the properties in form of foreign assets of Vijay Mallya and the attached assets in India of Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya, that has been attached by the Enforcement Directorate. Almost properties worth rupees 18,000 crore and more, that has been attached. Now the total recovery which remains for the ED is 4,000 crore rupees out of the total amount.
Okay.
Now, properties worth rupees 9,300 crore, that has been now transferred to the banks, which means that the banks can recover the money which was defrauded by all these three people. Now ED at this point of time is not only focusing on returning this money to the banks which was defrauded by these three people, but also they are trying to extradite those people, and that is why...
And Munish, that will be most crucial, yes. To be able to extradite these men perhaps will give a better reaction with regard to how public is waiting for these men to be returned. However, 40% of the money has been recovered and returned to banks and the government of the centre. Thank you so much, Munish, for all the latest.